Shani.
The first one was great. I didn't get it, but then she sent me back because they were still looking for boys. So I assumed that she pretended that I was a different person. We toured the UK for 4 years. So I was in the show for a long time.
4 years?
4 years, over a span of 4 years. And I was the last child to do 8 shows a week. We went so full out that he shouted on the stage, calm it down. Because obviously they didn't want the limelight to be taken off the leads. Just about to do my solo. And I hadn't swallowed the dairy milk properly. So it was in my throat. So luckily the cat had died, but I was going...
It's variety.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's episode of the Variety Show podcast with me, Adam Sternberg. Now, today's guest is an actor, a singer, a dancer and choreographer. And as you just told me, a writer as well. He started life as a West End child actor in the original production of Billy Elliot. From there, he was in the cast of Dreamgirls and most recently has appeared in the film Goodwin's Island, which is now on Amazon Prime for anyone who wants to watch it. So welcome, Ashley.
Hey.
To our podcast. Thank you very much for coming. As with most of my guests, could we start at the very beginning? So I forgot to say, you are a proud Northerner.
I am proud Northerner, yeah, that's right.
Yes, let's keep your Northern accent for the podcast.
That's it.
So tell me, where do you come from? Where were you born in?
I come from a place called Blackpool.
A place called Blackpool. I've heard this place, just in case you haven't heard of it, yes.
Yeah, you can't miss it. There's lights everywhere and a huge tower. And it's kind of like, for me, the entertainment capital of England. So it's a nice place to be from.
Yes, I suppose it is. It is still very much associated with entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think even just the promenade, like we've got like 5 theatres and then all in the piers and the hotels, there's cabarets going on left, right and centre. So it is really special for that.
And I actually went to Blackpool for the first time. It must have been, 15 years ago. And I think people from down south don't quite get it.
Yeah.
Unless they've been.
Yeah, I think so as well. For me, there's a lot of my friends that have come from America that get it a little bit more because they're like, oh, it's kind of giving like a Las Vegas feel. Or a Coney Island or even like Santa Monica in Los Angeles. So they're like, it's crazy. And Tim Burton actually came and did a movie.
Did he?
Yeah, he came and filmed, was it The House of Pellegrin's Children, I think it's called. And Samuel Jackson was around and they loved it because they were like, it's quite Tim Burton-esque anyway, isn't it? Because, you've got...
It is quite Burton-esque.
Yeah.
It is quite surreal, particularly as I went in the winter.
Oh, wow, yeah. It's crazy because obviously you've got the lights and stuff, but in the winter, like the waves coming over from the sea are just like, it's like something from a movie anyway.
Yeah, it is.
But then you can still go and watch a show.
Yeah, which is great. So, were your parents into the theatre?
So my nana used to run nightclubs and bars, and so she used to help
in Blackpool.
No, actually in Yorkshire.
Okay.
So it wasn't until my mum and dad met, and they came up with their new business venture, which was to buy a hotel in Blackpool. So that's why they moved to Blackpool and they had their children. So we've got a hotel which is opposite Central Pier. That's the one with the big wheel. And they've been there since 1984. So before I was born.
Wow.
So yeah.
So they're into hotels or hoteliers, but not necessarily performance?
Not performance. No, my nana was, because she was always kind of like helping managing the bands. I know that the Bachelors, they performed at my nana's venues all those years ago. So yeah, that's kind of the link in regards to like theatre. But no, it was just my energy that kind of led me down. My mum needed me to get out of the house when she was cooking breakfast. So that's why I went to theatre school.
So how did that start? How old were you when that started?
So I was about 8 years old. Exactly what I just said with like bed and breakfast. I was like flying around the dining rooms, etc. My mum was like, we need to get him out of the house and exude some energy. So they found a theatre school, which was a couple of blocks away from the hotel. And the lady, Tracy Bell, who ran the theatre school, it's called Screen Theatre Schools, and that's still running today. And the lady that owns the school, She's my agent even now today. So all those years
Wow.
later, and she sent me to an audition for Andrew Lloyd Webber when I was eight or nine, and I almost said 6, 7 then, but no, 8 or 9. And
Could have been 6 or 7.
and so went down, and I didn't get it.
What was that for?
That was for Whistle Down the Wind.
Okay.
I didn't get it, but then she sent me back because they were still looking for boys. So I assumed that she pretended that I was a different person, which is amazing.
There's a good agent tactic. Oh, you didn't like him? Try someone else.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like the first one, but
Exactly.
really isn't.
I tried a different tactic. So I did a cartwheel and a split at the end for Bill Kenwright, who was producing the show, and I booked it. So the first time I didn't get it, and then the second time for the same run-up, I booked the show, yeah.
So if we look at picture 0007, which is, I think, the picture with you with Bill Kenwright. So that's Bill Kenwright.
That is Bill Kenwright.
And you aged 8, 9, 7, 6, 7, 8?
I reckon 9 there, yeah, about age 9. That was when the show opened, and we toured the UK for 4 years. So I was in the show for a long time.
4 years?
4 years, over a span of 4 years. And I was the last child to do 8 shows a week. So it's before all the...
Because that's not allowed now, is it?
No. Normally there's at least 3 children playing the role on rotation. So yeah, I did 8 shows a week.
So how did that work together with schooling, educate? You had a tutor? Or?
Yeah, I had. I still remember them now. I had a couple. So I had Bernie and I had Fran. So yeah, they used to, in Whistle Down the Wind, they used to chaperone and teach me as well, where when I went into the West End, we had 2 different chaperones and tutors. But for Whistle Down the Wind, yeah, she basically was my mum Monday to Friday. And then my mum would come down on the weekends and chaperone me for the weekend. So yeah, we did 3 hours. We had to do 3 hours of education. That was the law. And at that time, which was the early noughties, I tried to convince the chaperones that swimming and going to the library was very important education. So I did get all my GCSEs, but we did swim a lot.
Good. Well, that's important in case you have any swimming roles.
Yeah, exactly, of course.
Baywatch comes out.
Yeah, Baywatch
the musical.
That would be brilliant.
We haven't done Baywatch the musical.
No, that's a good one. Yeah.
So tell me about Bill Kenwright, who's obviously a bit of a legend.
I mean, he is such a legend and a massive part of my career. Bill obviously found me when I was 8. And I've actually done 4 shows for Bill since. I did Whistle Down the Wind when I was a kid. And then I did the European tour of Jesus Christ Superstar for him. And then I did the West End revival of Saturday Night Fever, which was crazy because I covered everyone. I was the first understudy for almost all the roles. And there was one show where I had to go on for, I think, maybe 3 characters at the same time. So there was like wig changes left, right and centre.
Yeah, but having been used to pretending you're a different person in an audition,
yeah,
that obviously...
Yeah, well, it helped. There's like method. But he was very, 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 very good to me. Very strict as well, because obviously he knew me as a kid. So I used to often kind of like gallivant off into my head about different things, and he would always shout, "Concentrate, Ashley, concentrate." And I was like, okay. And even as an adult, my dance partner in Saturday Night Fever, we were in the Dream Ballet section to words, words, da, 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 da. There's 3 dance couples and then the leads at the front. And me and Tosca, who's actually in Moulin Rouge at the moment, we went so full out that he shouted on the stage, calm it down. Because obviously they didn't want the limelight to be taken off the leads. And in that moment, we just got carried away. So he was very real with me. And also like, just so great.
So tell me, was this before or after Billy Elliot?
Whistle Down the Wind was before.
Well, before it. Okay. How did you get Billy Elliot? Was that through this? Because of this?
It wasn't because of this, because they had open auditions for Billy Elliot the first time round, and they went
We're talking when? This is the original production?
So the auditions would have been 2004, and the original production was 2005 we opened. So yeah, the very first time that it hit the stage, because the movie had only come out a couple of years prior.
Yeah, so I forget it was based on...
Yeah, so Jamie Bell did the movie, and then they went and toured the North to find kids. So I think I auditioned in Manchester. I'm pretty sure I auditioned in Manchester. I think the hotel next to the Palace is coming to my mind. It might be that one, it might not be. And it was quite brilliant because the first thing we had to do was say our name and I'm going to say it and then you can bleep it out. So we had to go, hello, my name's Ashley Luke Lloyd and I don't want to be in fucking Billy Elliot anyway.
You had to say that?
Yeah, we had to say that. So that was the...
Oh, because, yeah.
Because there's so much bad language because obviously it's about that working class real and obviously the minds and everything. So they wanted to see the kids that had that bold energy. And then they obviously did dance rounds and acting rounds and kind of like pieced us together with Billy's and Michael's because I was Michael in the original cast.
So just remind me, what was Michael was his friend?
His best friend who cross-dresses. So yeah, he's the cross-dressing one. Yeah, and it was brilliant because obviously when you're a child, that is just so fun. You know, there's no kind of like other ideas that you have there. No, it's playful.
It's playful.
Yeah,
and there is and it feeds into that sort of tradition, doesn't it? That almost pantomime dame sort of tradition.
Yeah. And also Billy's story with him starting ballet, you know, Michael, the first line he said is, fucking hell, what are you doing going to ballet? But he'd be stood in a dress. So that's what was the innocence of Michael being like, what are you doing? And it's like, it's brilliant.
Can we have picture 0008, which I believe is you, that's the one, yep. With you with Elton John.
Yes.
And that was...
So that's 2005.
So that's
Billy Elliot.
Around the opening. So
that was actually press night in Victoria. And so, yeah, we were all invited over to, I believe it was Pasha, the nightclub, for the press night. So, that was the press night party and lots of amazing actors came to support the opening week. He was great. Obviously, is a huge legend and composed the show, and we were so lucky to work with him at such a young age. And he actually flew us all out to France to his beach, and we had a big press night party there as well.
Wow.
And I met one of his friends on the dance floor. All the kids were dancing, and it was a Scottish lady, and she said, "My name's Lulu," and we didn't know who she was at the time, but she was seriously, yeah.
My name's Lulu.
And it was brilliant. And we danced with her, and she was great fun and kind to all the kids. And yeah, we were very lucky at that time because I think it was such a special show, and it was all about the North, and everybody in the cast, children-wise, because we did have teams by then, so the law had changed. So we had 3 Michaels, 3 Billys and 3 Debbies. And there was only one that was from London. The rest of us were Northern.
And quite a groundbreaking musical, both in terms of the Northerners, but more specifically about perceptions of masculinity, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't particularly think it's a big thing for anyone to be doing ballet, but then boys doing ballet, particularly from up north, the stereotype.
Yeah, of course. But I do still think the stereotypes there.
You're right. Actually, someone was telling me there's a lead ballet dancer from Liverpool at the Royal Opera House at the moment called not Matthew Bourne, it might be something like Michael Bourne.
Okay,
but yeah, no one really knows that.
Yeah.
But it's more to do with the North than the fact that he's a man, actually, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think both are really important. But, you know, I go to lots of shows, dance school shows. I teach a lot of dance up north as well. And what kind of frustrates me is when you've got a group of 30 and there's one boy in the centre and there's 29 girls. Because
you still think that is the way?
Yeah, and I think it's also the encouragement of family and peers and friendships.
And do you think that's because the stereotypes that exist of sort of
absolutely
macho man playing rugby, not doing dancing, and if you do dancing, you look down upon in some shape, form?
Yeah, I do. And that's why I think I teach at Screen Theatre School still, with my agent's school in Blackpool. And we have loads of boys, we have loads of lads, we have every colour. And I think that's what's wonderful is, you know, that we've got so many lads that love the dance, love the acting, love the singing. But, you know, you look at, say, an ex-Billy Elliot, Tom Holland, who's Spider-Man. You know,
was he next? I didn't realise
that. He was a Billy
Wow.
Elliot a couple of years after us. But what's so important is his dance background has enabled him to play the roles like Spider-Man because of the agility.
That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, not all dance is equal. So you might be happy doing a street dance or something that's overtly sort of
hip-hop commercial, that
which is
kind
sort
of thing.
I can do that. That's sort of fine. But doing something with musical theatre, that's sort of a different...
What's crazy, though, is for ballet, like ballet is the hardest dance form.
Of course, physically.
And
it's like being it is an athlete.
Yeah.
It is an athlete.
And I think that's what's wild is I think ballet gets the hardest time, doesn't it, out of all of the forms because it's so elegant and girly, if you like. But actually, it's so strong.
No, but that's our problem, is perceiving it as girly, whatever that might mean.
Whatever it means.
Whatever that might mean. Whereas you're right. I mean, to do the lifts, to do the dancing involves a lot of strength, fitness.
That's why I love it when you see like the reality shows where they get a group of builders and they teach them how to dance and get them to lift and stuff, because it shows them, that the strength is real. It's not, it's not a game.
So I think you're right. I think however hard we will try to combat stereotypes, both in terms of gender, but also in terms of where people are from, I think there's still a lot of more work to be done.
I think it'll happen, though. I think it's gradual, isn't it? And I definitely think in, like the more kind of like cities, etc., I think we're getting there. But it's just kind of more in the rural areas and north, I think.
The one thing I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm being naive, that compared to society in general, the arts have been less racist, or at least more open to the opportunities for anyone of any colour to perform. Basically, because as long as you're fantastic, you're fantastic.
Yeah.
Who cares, really?
Well, I think, if you're the person for the job, you're the person for the job. If you're the standout, you're dedicated, you're a good person to work with, then 100% that's the person that should get the role.
Just thinking back a bit, growing up, were there any specific performers who inspired you, who you wanted to be, who you looked up to?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. There's so many, but there's one particular actor called Glenn Wallace who was in Whistle Down the Wind with me, and he had a supporting role, so it was an ensemble track. And he played, it's like the deputy sheriff in it, but he kind of looked after me, backstage, and kind of taught me how everything works logistically backstage and how to speak to people. And also like what's important is, kind of like looking after your technical team and saying thank you. All those things that,
that's definitely very important.
It's important. But then also he was a little bit naughty, and sometimes, we maybe do a little trump backstage and laugh and things like that when I was a kid. So he was a bit like a naughty brother to me. And he went on to, he's been in Hollyoaks for many years, and he's done loads of huge shows, in America and in Ireland.
But it's interesting you've chosen someone who is like, I mean, I suppose I was expecting you to say some, Shirley Bassey or, something.
She did see Dreamgirls, actually. Yeah.
But it's interesting you chose someone who actually sort of a closer relationship, someone, as you say, who acted as a mentor to you, as opposed to someone on a pedestal far away. But there must have been pedestal type people.
100%. I mean, I worked, I went over to work on a movie with Amy Heckerling, who was the writer of Clueless, the movie. And it was actually the audition process was happening whilst I was in Billy Elliot, and my contract was coming to an end because my voice broke.
That's always bad.
Yeah.
Well, not bad, but...
Well, no, it is, because obviously as a kid, you don't want to stop. But you can't play that role and sing those songs, with a broken, gravelly voice. Exactly. So I had an amazing time with Billy, but when that was wrapping up, I got the opportunity to audition for Amy's film, which was starring Michelle Pfeiffer and Paul Rudd. So yeah, I think obviously seeing the logistics of how they film a big Hollywood film, that was very inspiring seeing that.
Can we then see picture 0006? That is you with...
So we have, Amy Heckerling is the writer and director on the right.
With the earphones.
The earphones, yeah. And then that's Michelle Pfeiffer. And on the left is Sissy Spacek.
So those are some pretty substantial people.
Pretty epic. Yeah, I was very, very lucky. And originally I auditioned for the lead role in I Could Never Be Your Woman. I hadn't finished Billy Elliot by then, so I got a supporting role. So it was very much a cameo, but they flew me to Hollywood and we shot it out there, and it was really, really great, but so inspiring to see how the big guys work, and how fast everything moves as well, and the detail.
Where was this picture shot, do you think?
So this was in the house, actually. So we filmed a portion of the film in London. I want to say Pinewood Studios. I was 14 there. And then we shot the rest of it out in Hollywood in the actual house. But the house was a real house in LA, and in Pinewood Studios, they built the downstairs of the house in LA. So it was identical. So yeah, that's in the house in LA.
So having been exposed at that early age to Hollywood, was that then something you wanted to be?
Yeah.
A Hollywood actor, a star? Do you want to be a star? Do you want to be?
It's a big question.
Well, yes. It is a big question, but it is one of those questions, isn't it? It's like, is that the ambition to be a star?
No. The ambition is not to be a star. The ambition is to storytell for me and to also just kind of adventure. Like when I do, I've got lots of different hats, which, like I choreograph and I act and I sing. And I think definitely the movie world and kind of like the acting world is something that actually, as much as I love my dancing and my singing, I love acting because it's storytelling.
So of the disciplines that you do, the singing, the choreography, the writing, the producing, that's your favourite?
Yeah.
The acting?
Yeah, just by a big inch, I'd say. I just love being able to delve into the world of the character and the story that you're telling, and also to inspire people and kind of tell people what's going on, really. But yeah, I mean, I think going back on the star question, my favourite kind of actress superstar is like Judi Dench, because she's, of a great age. She still works. She's still, on every interview I see, she's still as positive as ever. And I think that's my ambition, is to be still working at that age, telling really great stories and having fun with it is probably where I want to be. I'd like a mansion in LA as well, though.
Fine. Well, that's yes, for which you might need to be a star.
Yeah, maybe.
But it is a question I ask people. A couple of people say, yeah, I want to be a star because it means I've succeeded.
Yeah.
It means I'm at the height of my profession.
Which is great. And I get that. And so, yeah, in some ways, I would say yes to that side of it. But then you see the sad side of it, the lonely side, where the pressure of the fame and everything like that, it's too much, I think, sometimes.
No. But even for you, you must have down moments. I mean, I've talked about this before. You're constantly being judged.
Yeah.
Judged at auditions, judged when you're performing. Well, all performers are being judged, aren't they?
Yeah.
By definition.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work with you? How do you cope with that?
I think because I've done it since I was a child, I think it's easier. And also, everyone's different. Everyone's got a different opinion. My favourite colour is yellow. What's your favourite colour?
I hate it. Hate yellow.
Yeah, hate yellow, exactly. But what's your favourite colour?
My favourite colour depends on my mood.
Exactly. But yeah.
Hold on, this is my podcast. You can't blue, maybe.
Blue,
Depending on what colour blue, but I'm in a black mood today.
Yeah.
Not literally, but yes.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I think that's also how I handle it is, if I go into an audition and I think I'm right for the job, I've got to realise that, I'm not putting the money into it. I'm not telling the story that they want to tell. So I'm not going to be right for everything. So yeah, I think that's kind of how I handle that. Also with live theatre, there's something, and I know we've spoken about this before, but I really agree that it's really important that when you're watching something live, that that it's happening in real time. You're not going back, and that's something special.
No, I completely agree with you. I think it's the anecdote to AI in a way. It is entirely real and in real time, which means that no performance is twice the same.
No.
And anything that can go wrong probably will go wrong at some point.
Every singer, all of us, most of my friends in the West End, we've always had that one moment where that note, you might crack slightly, or, you might come off the note because of the breath. It is what it is in that sense, but you're giving it everything. You're being in character, and you're driving that forward.
Do you have a moment, a cock up moment that springs to mind?
I've got a few.
Give me one.
Yeah.
Give me one.
Okay.
I'll tell you, people are much more interested in the cock-ups than the smooth. And actually, part of me thinks we don't actually sit there waiting for a disaster.
No.
But it's more the jeopardy that there could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've mentioned this before on the podcast, a tightrope walker.
Mm-hmm.
A tightrope walker walking without a net is a different act completely to one with a net.
Of course.
Because the jeopardy is that much greater.
Yeah, and you're on your edge of your seat because you don't know what's going to happen.
He's doing the same thing. He's walking across, but, one is potential death.
It's the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the
unknown. Come on, let's have your tightrope.
I've got a couple.
Do a couple.
Yeah, so when I was a child, with Stand the Wind, I had a solo in Act 2 and my cat had died. And
but this is an actual cat.
No, it's a fake one in a box. Yeah, no, that wouldn't.
I thought you were so emotionally distraught that your actual cat had died.
No. It was a fake cat. It was in the story. So yeah, and one of the ensemble performers gave me a dairy milk before I went on the stage. And we were working with David Steadman, who is also another legend in the theatre industry. He's an amazing MD and composer and musical supervisor. And he used to have a cane. And he'd be going away. I was just about to do my solo. And I hadn't swallowed the dairy milk properly. So it was in my throat. So luckily, the cat had died, but I was going... And the audience were just like, what is that? Luckily, I was a child as well. So the audience were like, is the cat? What's happened? And so, yeah, that was something that I don't know if he snapped the cane or if that's in my imagination, but the MD wasn't best pleased. Yeah, but he was a legend. And the other one was Dreamgirls when we were in previews stages. And so I played the Cadillac man who steals the Cadillac song. And it kind of opens up and I've got this sparkly, amazing background with two backing dancers. And I'm on a platform which releases. It's kind of a little bit like you're on a little mini roller coaster if you're from Blackpool. And it comes forward to the stage and then releases back. So you have to choreograph yourself forward. So you're leaning forward. And we're in previews. So this isn't on the stage management. But the platform started spinning. So I started spinning around. So luckily the dancers jumped off the platform and they exit. But I had to sing the song whilst I was a tornado. And obviously we had a show stop, but anything can happen.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And often does. So you've been in obviously in a lot of productions of one sort or another. Is there any role you would dream to play that you haven't played yet?
Yes, for sure. I'd love to play Lumiere in Beauty and the Beast, the candlestick.
Be my guest.
Be my guest. That's it. Exactly. Yeah, I just, as a kid growing up, that film came out when I was born. So I love the movie. I love the music. And I just think that role is so much fun.
Well, anyone watching who's thinking of putting it on as a musical, I think you'd be... How's your French accent?
Oh, yeah, La Vie en Rose.
Very convincing. Very convincing.
It's on the spot.
Right. At this point in time, people normally teach me something.
Okay.
Would you like to teach me something?
I'd love to teach you something.
Okay, well, you can teach me.
Okay. So there's two things, actually.
Okay.
So the first thing is a little bit of choreography from Billy Elliot. I
left my tights at home, but anyway.
But luckily you're playing Michael right now.
Fine.
And it's kind of inspired from like voguing.
Yeah.
And it's all hand, exactly. So yeah, so this was in Billy, but I also use it in lots of my choreography that I do. So I stole it from Peter Darling. So thank you, Peter. So we start like this. That's it, under the chin. And then we cross.
That's only one bed. I have issues. I must warn you, actually. I don't think I've ever done. My mother was a dancer and choreographer, right? My mother was a dancer and choreographer. And she used, and I used to put on little musicals when I was younger, and I used to perform. And she used to put her hair out because she would say, I can't even walk in time. And I definitely have something I can't quite. But anyway, let's try again.
Okay. It gets harder than this. Okay. So basically what you want to do is you want to put your right arm on your cheek and your left palm on your cheek.
Right palm on my cheek.
Yes, very good. Now you want to swap.
Now I want to swap.
So, yeah, very good.
Yes.
So let's do the first three. One, two, three. Now you want to put your middle fingers together. That's it. And then you're going to pop out. Way! And it looks like this.
Well, I'm not going to do that. It's interesting, isn't it, how something that looks, for you, very, very simple. That would be very, very basic.
Yes.
For me, I'm completely lost, frankly.
Yeah. to be fair, we probably had quite a lot of rehearsal on it, but I think you did a good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And then anything else?
Yeah, the second thing is, so I did a horror film actually in Budapest when I was 21, and it was with Tim Curry, which was amazing.
Now start one of my favourite all-time shows.
Rocky Horror Show, of course, so good. And we filmed it in a theme park that was just about to close down. So we got to use the whole theme park, but it was night shoots, and we were all covered in blood. And so and the apartment was in Hero Square, and we would finish shooting and we'd walk home. But the makeup artists, it was 7:00 in the morning, and they'd say, "Do you want some wipes?" And we were like, "No, we only live across the square." So me and the lead actress, she's called Erin. We used to walk across, but with the blood still on. So people of Budapest used to look at us and be like, what's happened? Where have they been? But we were just so tired that we were like, we'll just get a shower when we get home. So she played Jenny, and Tim Curry was the monster. So it was his voice. And so Jenny was kidnapped by Ginger Clown. That's the name of the film. So there's the moment where she goes missing, and I'm in the attic of some roller coaster, and I'm walking through, and I can hear a noise. And I'm looking, and I think it might be Jenny because it's high-pitched. But I'm not sure whether it's the monster or Jenny. So you have to say Jenny, but quietly, but with a little bit of fear that you might get eaten.
Yes, I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
give me an example.
Jenny? Jenny?
Jenny? Jenny?
I don't think you were scared enough.
Oh, I wasn't scared enough, wasn't I?
No.
I've got to channel
You could get eaten at any moment.
Okay. I got to imagine that I might be eaten any moment.
At any moment, but you want to find Jenny.
Yeah. Jenny.
The first one was great.
The second one was shit.
The second one had a smile. That's brilliant.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's been good. I like that. But actually, what it also shows, I think, do you think people misunderstand what the life of a performer is like? Do you think people get it who are not performers?
No, I don't.
In what way?
So I don't think people get it because they see the end product. So they don't see what goes into it. And they don't see the hours and hours of preparation and rehearsal and revising lines and research and, fitness and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. And also what is quite frustrating, which loads of performers will tell you, is, you go into a taxi, you're in the taxi and they, where are you going? Going to London. Why going to London? Oh, I've got an interview. Oh, what's your interview for? And then obviously you end up telling them, I'm an actor or I'm a musical theatre performer. And they say, oh, great. Have you been on the X Factor? And you just go, oh. And don't get me wrong, I used to love watching the X Factor and I voted for Little Mix and it's, it's a great show. But they only see what the media gives them. And I think that's a very frustrating thing. And it's a great platform for a lot of musical theatre performers, I did Legally Blonde with Lucy Jones and she was on the X Factor and she's incredible. And I think that's also tough. But also they also ask about your proper job. And,
Yes, that's what's your proper job? Yeah,
what's your proper job? Yeah.
What I think, and actually just in a very, very small way, what you try to teach me is just how hard it is. And this goes back to what you say, people see the end result. And then when people are good and the end result just appears easy.
Yeah.
It's meant to appear easy. Mm-hmm. But actually it only appears easy because
the rehearsal and the preparation.
And the time.
And, like the voice, it's their muscles, aren't they? So like the Olympics and athletes, they, train and train and train. And that's why something, flows well. And the saying of, preparation is key because, what is the saying? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
That's the one.
Something like that.
Something like that.
And I think, you can see, when you see performances, you can really see when they know their craft. And it's, for me, it's really exciting to watch something that I, escape. And going back to the storytelling thing, that is why I do it, because I think storytelling is so important. And to go and watch a play or a musical or a film and you escape from your everyday life and, people that aren't in the performing industry, if they can have 2 hours of escapism somewhere else is pretty cool.
But actually, for me, it's more important than that. I think I don't know what your view is on the opportunities that there are for young people to learn.
Yeah.
Not just singing or dancing, but the arts in general,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if you're from a working class background, is hard.
Yeah.
I still think I don't know if you saw, there was an article in The Guardian last week where it said that whereas performance used to be open to everyone if they had talent, more and more, because of the financial implications, it becomes reserved for an elite.
Yes.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I do think it's true. But on the other hand, there are other platforms. I've got an incredible friend called Ian Meeson, who I actually just finished doing his musical workshop. He composes as well, and he's been in loads of West End shows. He's opened a college in Blackpool called the Blackpool Theatre Collective, and it's free. It's for any age above the kind of school year, but it also gives the opportunity for talented children to really nurture their talents in order to try and go to these schools to get degrees with scholarships, etc. So I think there are platforms out there. I know that's not necessarily a London school, but it's a platform.
But almost what worries me is before you even get to that point, is if you're 10 and you're in a school which doesn't supply anything, and the only way to do any of these things is to have private lessons.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yeah. It is tough. I think the educational side of it, I mean, there's so many children that, that love performing that, they watch.
And I don't even mean as a career. I just mean for your own...
To learn. And also it's huge for confidence, isn't it? Whether you're going to be a lawyer or a banker, like to be able to speak to somebody. I mean, most of the time, really great actors are quite shy as normal people, aren't they? And then when they're on the stage, they're a different person. So on the flip side, it would be great for kind of people going into a normal career, whatever that means, is, performing is good for that. But yeah, I definitely think there should be more bursaries. There should be definitely something where children of a young age that can, kind of acquire leotards and
Well, no, definitely. But more to the point, it should be on the curriculum. It should be that everyone has the opportunity to do something.
It was,
but it isn't.
Not now, yeah.
And so that points to a belief somewhere in government that somehow it's not that important.
Yeah.
Do you remember that advert during COVID, which had that picture of that ballet dancer?
Yes.
Where it said, well, she could always retrain in IT, which to me just summed up the whole thing.
Yeah.
That you could have spent 12 years or however many years working your butt off becoming a dancer, but actually move on and do something else because it's not really that important.
Yeah, but where do they go after they finished in the House of Commons? Do they go to the West End to watch a show?
But that's the point. And I read that too. It's like all these multimillionaires earning money out of tech.
Yeah.
They go to the theatre. They probably don't read books. I'm being a bit biased there. But yeah, people want that. So someone has to be delivering that, don't they? So I do think it's important that we protect our culture and view it as important and not just as some sort of...
Well, it is our culture. It's, right back to the globe and before, it's been here forever. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but those people need to help.
No, I agree. And do you worry at all about AI?
I was actually having this conversation with my friend yesterday. I like it on the surface. I like it if it's, helpful for people that might need help with grammar and writing, and also for, kind of like an encyclopedia for history, easy things to grab. The terrifying thing is, how real things look. I think, this actress that's come out and she's signed by a huge Hollywood agent and she is completely AI. All her show reels are AI. I think she's got some kind of like brand partnerships with different companies. That's terrifying because it's not real, and it's like, how can you really, really tell a story with something that isn't real? So yeah, it is terrifying. So no to AI.
No to AI. And I suppose that the only thing, at least at the moment, AI can't deliver is the performance itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it can deliver, I presume, projections or other aspects, and it can deliver a film, potentially, but it can't deliver you in Dreamgirls or you in Billy Elliot.
No. I want to go and see certain things. I remember watching War of the Worlds, which was a Bill Kenwright production at the Dominion, and they had, I think it was Liam Neeson. I'm going to go with Liam Neeson.
Good. There's always a good person to go with.
Yeah. As long as he's not going to kidnap me. Yeah, he was, what's it called? Projected, like Abba Voyage.
That's Abba Voyage,
yeah, exactly. And I think that's exciting, but I guess that's taken from real footage. And that's something a bit different. I think when we get to a point where we're watching a show in the West End with full AI characters, I think maybe that's the time that I'll get a job in IT.
Have you ever thought about another job? Or has this always been it?
No, because it's like, I like my different hats, you know. I like, you know, choreographing and I like teaching. And so, like, you know, if I'm a bit bored or if the auditions are a bit quiet, then, you know, I put myself into...
So there's never been a moment in your life where your career wasn't going to be this?
Not that I remember, and I hope not in the future.
You weren't going to run a hotel. You weren't going to take everything.
Wow, that's crazy. I've been asked this conversation so many times. I help my mum and dad for sure when I'm home and you know, it's when it's busy. I've made plenty of
You're
beds.
better at the breakfast now. You're not so jumping around the place.
No, I'll give the guests a song and dance if they want on a Saturday, but no, it's not really for me. I do like the idea of owning like a show bar at one point in my life. I'd like that. I love going over to Paris to see the Crazy Horse.
Yeah, we're sort of missing that quite. Even in London, it's not quite that.
No.
You have, you know, Zadell, or you have stuff which is good, but it's not on that sort of scale.
It's not necessarily resident, is it, either?
Yeah, you have West End theatres.
Yeah.
Or not. And it's, yeah.
Well, I've worked with Carol Todd, who's a huge director and choreographer. She choreographed us in Jesus Christ Superstar. And she was telling me, this was a story years ago, that she was a swing at Drury Lane. And then after the show, she would then...
Just explain swing again.
Swing. So she would be there for when the dancers, you know, were sick or et cetera, et cetera. So she would go on and cover. So like an understudy, but for loads and loads of roles. Yeah. It's the hardest part in the West End is to swing, because you imagine you're doing Cats and Starlight Express and you've got 7 different roles on roller skates or as a cat.
So you wouldn't go in, you wouldn't get the show wrong. So you'd enter Cats on roller skates by accident.
Well, I would love to see that. That would be great. So yeah, so she told me that, you know, she'd finish up at being a swing and then go and perform as a showgirl in like a real show bar in London. So I think they were there in the 60s, 70s.
No,
80s,
I think they probably were, but they're not. And I do think, or maybe it's wishful thinking, that the time is right for them to come back again, because people are hankering after those sort of experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a couple advertised. There's one that I really want to go to, but it's not, you know, that kind of traditional. Well, Parisian is what I like. I like those kind of Parisian vibes.
Yeah, but I just think anything sort of cabaret-ish. I mean, a lot of the acts I've had here, so, you know, burlesque artists or singer-dancers or whatever, you know, a cabaret show with a variety of different acts.
It's needed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been most entertaining, actually. Thank you for teaching me my
Your voguing Billy Elliot.
I think my next I could do Master. Oh no, I won't do Master. Oh, I need to have a mime artist on this show.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Although they don't say much, so that might be
a
little bit tricky. Anyway, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
Guest, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Variety Show. For more information on future episodes or to rewatch past episodes, do visit us on our social media at The Variety Show Podcast. Thank you very much, and see you at the next episode.
It's variety.